Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Mary Jane Tracy, psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, and an astrologer. So, coming to you with the 411 and the shenanigans and some of the trends and info that I've discovered or have come across my feed in the last little while. And I was on Wednesday, so on the 5th, and now today. So, what the other part too is with this new year is figuring out times. What time is the best time to be on for views and all of that kind of fun stuff. So figuring out the analytics of me doing my stuff and providing you with information and doing the things that I do. So a few things, astrologically, the moon will go void, of course, later on this evening, and I think that's going to bring in a little bit of funkiness. But the real big part, or the real big show, is this weekend, and the beautiful Venus Gazini that's happening, and this is where the Sun and Venus conjunct, and that will be at 4:47 p.m. tomorrow. And this is going to start a new symbiotic cycle of Venus and the new petal or points of the five-pointed star or the rose of Venus. And um, this is bringing in some really deep energies for us all. And I wrote yesterday on my Facebook page on like imagining and healing ourselves within each of the points of the petal. And we also have a Mars that's going to be opposite Lilith on Sunday, which can bring some very intenseness when it comes to communication, even argumentative. So be aware. And with Mercury sextiling Chiron, that Mars opposite Lilith, I think I've already felt it, because it was really, sometimes you don't feel it right on the day. Sometimes you feel it, the energies before it actually happens. So you might have been feeling that, a couple days ago or even today, of that Mars opposition with Lilith, and sort of feeling very, having those intensities. And then we have the Mercury sextile Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer, and Mercury in front end of the shadow. We got to pay attention to the ideas and communications and information and conversations arising, especially on Sunday. They can be a part of a longer conversation involving Mercury's descent. So Mercury's really coming in and bringing in some information for us all, like we're receiving information. A couple things that I found with all of this energy that's coming in, and with Venus in Capricorn, is with the vaccines, or should I, with the elixirs. Sorry, didn't mean to say that word, whatever I was talking about. But with the elixirs, that they have to release all the information within 8 months. It's not postponed for another, 75 years, or how long they want it to keep it hidden for. It's in 8 months. So that was overturned. So information is going to start being released. Now, here's the thing, is that through getting the information released, it's going to be interesting in how it's done, um how forthcoming, or how much, are they going to, I got like a black pen, black it all out kind of thing. So, but we have that's happening. And also, when it comes to exposure, is the Serbian tennis player coming in. And I know some people may or may not like him. I don't follow tennis that much anymore. But what he's doing is that he's exposing things. He's exposing, and that's what you got to focus on. You may not like the person, or you may not like what they are, maybe what they represent, or you might find them very irritating. But this is where it's like, um, because he was not disclosing his medical status. He did say, "Yeah, I've had the thing, and I got the antibodies," and he was accepted to go in, and now they're rejecting him. So it's going. They were supposed to. I'm not sure. There was an emergency meeting being brought up. So this is huge. in really revealing with governments, right? How much they are, being exposed on the tyranny and the disruptions that they're bringing. And that really has a lot to do with the Saturn Uranus square. We have a Mars squaring Neptune right now. So there's some insights or information that's coming in with that as well. So we have that's coming in. We also have where in the UK, 2/3 of those who've taken the elixirs have gotten ill with the thing. And they're really taking a look at that on what is happening. So that's about 66% or something like that. So information is coming to the surface. So this is really shattering people's realities. And that's what I've been telling people. I think things are going to start shattering. You're going to start seeing it in December. You're going to start seeing it in this new year. And this new year is not like any, like the last 2 years. We're releasing a lot of that energy of the last 2 years. And we are stepping into some tumultuous type of energies, but we're also stepping into some real blissful frequencies that are creating a very high vibration, especially with the Christ consciousness energies that are coming in, and that igniting what I'm going to call the Holy Trinity within us, and really bringing us into some beautiful alignments. So we have this deep awakenings that are happening, and as they're happening, yeah, there is, with that's bringing up a lot of unsettledness. We had, I don't know if you saw Whoopi Goldberg, and I can't remember the other guy's name, who was saying, I did everything. I am fully elixired. And then they've tested positive. So this is where people's realities, that they're waking up. It's like it doesn't matter if you are or if you aren't. And even though we are seeing that the tyranny within different political systems is really trying to force an agenda. And this is where, again, with the opposition to Lilith is coming in, because she doesn't put up with being pushed around. She doesn't put up with being told what to do. This is why Adam couldn't handle her and he had to get Eve. It's just like, I can't, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to stand up for what I need to stand up for. And this is coming up, and this is all rising up to the surface. All of this crud is rising up. And even with our own lovely PM, I mean, we're seeing the foulness. We're seeing this. It's coming to us, and we're just like, wow, okay. Where do we need to stand? How do we need to stand in our light? Hey, Cynthia, than what we have been doing. Because all of this is like bang, bang, bang. It's in our faces. That's what the astrology is doing. The astrology this year is like jam packed in your face. Do you see this? Do you see this? Are you awakening? Why aren't you doing something? Why aren't you standing in your power? Why aren't you standing in your light? This is what this is coming in. I mean, within the first 6 days, we've had 3 new types of variants coming in, that are saying, look at this, look at this, look at this. And we're just like, okay, this reminds me, and I know for a lot of you, many of you who know me know I don't do drugs or anything, but I can really relate to drugs, if that makes any sense. Um, when people do certain drugs, especially things like acid or LSD, it's when you've gone on those trips, or even those who've done, some DMT, but when you're on these, you go and you meet within an alignment of God. I mean, there's aliens, there's like, it puts you further past this realm and this world, and it gives you the clarity that there there's so much more to be living for and not to be afraid. And I feel like there's, it's like, yeah, maybe I want everybody to go on an LSD trip to awaken, but no, just kidding. But I feel like there is this awakening that's trying to show us that you don't have to be scared. And within our mind, there's so much, especially with the Christ consciousness and this energetic light that's coming in, that is activating our neurons, like igniting them more than they've ever been ignited without any partaking in any of the hallucinogenic drugs. But there is an ignitement. There is this enlightening that is coming forth for us to awaken. That's why we're seeing all of this crap coming in. And hearing where we hear our own PM be a racist. Like the things that he says. I mean, it's bad enough that he went around in blackface, but now he's calling other people names, which is really wrong. It's uncalled for. This is where, because where the light is coming in for the frequencies that are so high, that wants to bring us together and bring us to community, where others are coming in and trying their darndest to divide that. We're also seeing where Kazakhstan has fallen. Now it's funny because a few of my I don't know, you can call them conspiracy theorists, but where they've told me, they're like, that's where a lot of the information for the new world order it was in Kazakhstan. And I'm like, oh, what, really? He goes, yeah, and part of the Illuminati and stuff like that. So, and the financial systems. So that is interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what a few of them have said to me, because all of that is collapsing. And we're seeing, for those who are, who have any investments in that, you're seeing things just drop, 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 drop. So we're seeing a lot of band-aids that are going to be trying to be putting on things, but there is going to be coming forth where there's going to be some kind of full crash and energies that are going to come in. Now, with in saying that, we also have, with that Jupiter Neptune energy, wanting to create magic, wanting to create a place where we, as we awaken, to ignite within ourselves, ignite within our world. And within the complex, like there's so many things that are so complex that are just banging us, right? It's important to come back to where we can be grounded. It is important to come back to where we can have our connections with the people that we're able to talk this out, or talk with, and say, hey, you know what, I'm really frustrated with this, and it's very difficult for me to deal with a lot of this energies, or I'm feeling very depressed, or what have you. To be able to have a place where you feel the safety, that you're able to talk about it, because there's such a crazy push. We don't want you to slip into the depression. We want you to go with the flow, to find the magic in things, because that's really, really strong, where a lot of that Jupiter kind of energy is within Pisces, and coming into that Neptunian energy. So this is a fullness. And I've been saying, when we're going back to the financials, is that I've been saying for the last few years, and where things are just going to get crazier, and we're going to see that um where we have to come together. I know, I feel my dad coming in, and him saying, it's like, this is when people need to band together, where you need to find that community, because all of a sudden you're going to find that there's no more money for certain things anymore. And you're going to be having to rely on some form, or some outside connections, in order to um survive in some ways, and that those connections could be with people who can grow their own food, with people who are able to, might have extra space on their property or something, to establish, right? So this is where we're this connections are going to start coming in. Now that Kazakhstan, really, I'm being pulled for because I know there's some craziness else that is there that is going to be really, because they don't want to let go of power, obviously, but the people are tired. The people are tired of the mandates. They're tired of the lockdowns. And, look at what's happening in Quebec. Look at what's happening in Ontario, Nova Scotia. They're wanting to pull in. I think I was just reading. They're wanting to pull in the. I don't know. I think it was the National Guard or something. Um, right now because of all systems go as military sets. Yeah, the military in Nova Scotia. So setting up to bring in the military in Nova Scotia to get the booster done. But that's the thing is that there's this push for things, yet there's this energy that's coming in to show you like, well, look at over here. This is what we want to show you. We want to show you connections. We want to show you where we want you to come together. And, all of this is having us to awaken in such speed. Now, as I say that, there's also the different timelines for everybody too, right? And all the places that voted liberal. I know, Jen. It's it's like you it's such that's part of their shattered reality. It's like all the people who voted for Biden in the States. It's that shattered reality coming in. I mean, making a big shadoo yesterday and calling it worse than Pearl Harbor, what happened a year ago, the insurrection in Washington, D.C. It wasn't worse than Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was where this United States stepped into World War II. And it wasn't worse than the Twin Towers. That was horrific, and how many people died, from that. So this is where this energy of awakening is so strong. But again, there's like people who like Whoopi Goldberg it's like, I don't understand how I could have gotten this because I did everything, including getting the third elixir. So this is where it's like, because I follow the astrology. This is where it's like, okay, it's telling us that we need to ignite, come together in unity, come together in some kind of form. Now, the other thing that the Pope came out and he spoke that um, that people, pets over children is selfish. And the one thing I have to say, and it's no offense, I got a cat and I understand I agree 100%. And I was listening to, this one person and then a chat box, and she was saying that, well, I don't know how the Pope could say that. She goes, I love my dog. And, and look what Prince Philip's saying, that the world can't survive and all of this. I said, that's one narrative, but animals are the sixth house. They're here for service. That's what animals were put on this earth to do. Animals do not have that human. They don't. First of all, they don't think about death. Animals aren't thinking about death, and there is and they don't have the same human emotions as humans do. The thing is, the house that comes before animals is Leo, and that's children. Children are the connection of bringing us back to reality. Remember, children are the ones who lead us. Children are the ones who get us to see things in ways that we've never seen them before. And this is where, the one time I really have to agree with him is that there is like too attached, when people get too attached to human responsibilities, and they forget that part of our is our, part of our earth walk is our lineage, and looking at our lineage. How many people go on ancestors.com to find out about their lineage? How many people, keep scrapbooks and find out, or young children want to know about their grandparents or their great grandparents, and they ask those questions. This is where this energy is coming in, is that we, many of the younger generation right now, past the millennials, the Gen Zs, aren't thinking of who's going to support them. They're not thinking that way. They're not thinking of their lineage. And that's where, part of the energy is coming in too. And where, because with Venus in Capricorn, huge, man. Venus in Capricorn. I mean, she went over Pluto and was stationary on Pluto for a few days, is igniting us back to who we are as women within our femininity. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but this is where, when it comes to igniting, coming into ourselves, I mean, last year was where men had to come back to men, and that was that Mars retrograde in Aries. Mars had to, ignite the masculine energy again and say, awaken, man. You got to come back, and you got to be that of what a man is here to be. Here, this is igniting that of women to step into. This is what you are here to do. No man can give birth. Only a woman can give birth. And step into it. And I understand, some cannot have any children and etc. That's not who I'm talking, but this is about our lineage. And it's that through that generation, through the newness of bringing in a new generation, is going to be our savior, is going to be our place where we are able to connect, and where we are going to be able to bring our planet together. So there is, our spiritual practice is also our lineage and our spiritual success. And this is where we as people are needing to connect and reunite and come back to those grassroots. Come back to that celebration of togetherness, of family, of lineage, of children. And that's all part of the astrology coming forth. Where so many times we try to jump ahead. We try and jump ahead and say, I want this before that. Or, you can't, with Taurus is all about values. What are your values? You got to have your values before you have your curiosity. If you're just curiosity and you just don't know where the hell you're going, this is where you got to really understand. This is the direction I'm going to. Because you can't have Taurus before Gemini. This is for finding your identity of the I am of Aries before you find your values. You find your identity. Who am I? What do I like? What are my interests? I am. And then we come into Taurus of what we care about, what we like. And then we get curious about it to create even more. And then we come together with the home and the family to create the children, to go out into service, to bring in relationships, to come into what it means and what it looks like within our foundation and our sexuality, and how far we can push boundaries so that we can reconnect with God, to build a foundation which is strong within our communities, to come back together with our spirituality, because we have our friends that are going to help us to lead it. That's where the astrology is. And too many times we're jumping all around to try and get ahead of something instead of coming back to some really basic bases and really look at things and say, okay, I need to find my identity. And that's where people are at right now, is finding your unique identity of who you are and what you care about, your truth. Because this is where part of this, as we're even building up to a full moon in Cancer, to find out what we truly care about. Because we have to define that in order to create a society, a place of uniqueness where we can come together and we can gather and have that magic. That's where our basis of our reality is and coming in. And this is a calling to wake the people up. That people are looked in their weird little boxes, in their weird little places. And this is where we need to awaken. I think some people need to listen to some Timothy Leary and Ram Dass. The two of them work together. But even, of looking at that, like, what is your reality? Your reality is Trudeau? Is that your reality? We can call it, is your reality Biden? What is your reality? What is your truth? Is that your truth? It sure isn't my truth. My truth isn't going with a racist and a hypocrite. Mine isn't going to an abuser. My truth is within myself that wants to bring in, I am free, I am healthy, I am sovereign. And step into that to create my lineage and that strength of that lineage within myself and within my grandson and whatever other grandchildren happen to pop along in the next few years. And not to be afraid of that, not to be afraid to bring in children into this world. Because it's through them that we are going to be given life. That is going to be so, so true. To thy oneself be true. We are going to have to create this newness for ourselves and for those before us. And the strongness, of this year is going to be very much a Uranian year, very strong, along with a Mars year, with the energies moving very fast, bringing in a lot of drama, bringing in a lot of let's get going, let's unite, let's bring in the chaos and the turbulence. But it's also going to be bringing in some utterly blissful energy. And depending on our frequency, it's like what we have chosen to really work on in this lifetime. We are going to see people who are going to lose a lot. But in them losing a lot, who's coming together? Like, who's coming in to say, okay, I'm here to help you? That's what's going to create the community. It's like your loss is going to be that person coming in to help you and bringing that person over there to help you and that person there to help them. So it brings in this unity in a very unique way and creating this uniqueness. And I feel that we are igniting into this year something that is going to bring us a beautiful transformational time in amongst the craziness and the chaos. I was watching a series on it's an archaeologist, and I think they're all different forms of archaeologists, and they go and they live in a period of time for a year. And one it's a man and it's a woman and two men that during World War II, and how in England, and how the people on the countryside really had to unite together to grow the food, to house other people's children, to take care of other people's children, during that time. And how many, even though as horrific as the war was, many, were saddened by the end because of the communities that they created and that harmony and bliss. And that brought in a whole new time, the 50s, and that started to come in. But this is where it's through some crazy hardships that are going to be brought to us that we are going to find our greatest power and our greatest dynamics within all of us. And we are going to be finding a lot that our ideology being crushed. And with it being crushed is going to form something new for us all. And that's how I see, even for this weekend, as we're stepping in, and that Venus retrograde is really, showing us as she will disappear behind the sun. And that's where she goes into her descent to come out, to become a morning star, and from the evening star. So we are, this is bringing in some great spiritual lessons for us all, and some beautiful diversity for us all as well. Yeah, baby, we're heading into some fun times, but I feel like there's such light within it all, and you'll hear me say that quite a bit this year, that there is going to be a lot of light, because we're shaking off the last 2 years in amongst, the craziness that, I was just explaining. All of that's happening. Yeah, we see all of that turbulence and that drama and the chaoticness, but we're also, seeing a lot of people coming together and banding together, and to create something that is absolutely harmonious and beautiful as well. So it's like we're walking this crazy duality within our world, but it's awakening strands within us that have not been awakened for thousands and thousands of years, and bringing us back to that awakening, that time of trueness and enlightenment. So there you go, guys. I had to come in and give you a little bit of the 411 and the craziness for the weekend. I'd really set up a ritual for the weekend, some kind of ritual, some kind of releasement that you would like to do, especially with this Venus energy, and calling in that divine mother, that divine feminine energy, to do a healing and releasing for yourself. And that would be something to do. It's at 4:47 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. So, in doing that would be fabulous time. I mean, you don't have to do it exactly at that time, but that's when it's happening. So, and for those who are in the fairy workshop, I will be making a messenger group for you. And so for those who are in the fairy workshop, uh, let if you're not, it'll be made up by tomorrow. So if you're not in the messenger group, I'll be putting messages up there. Let me know, hey, I registered for that, mama, why aren't I in there? And I'll be, I'll let you in. Okay. And those who are interested in the fairy workshop, definitely get a hold of me. It is 15 weeks. It is a fabulous workshop. And if of opening your third eye, stepping into your true light and power, and really bringing in a lot of beauty when it comes to your own self, your sexuality, and bringing and love, joy, and peace, and health and wealth and longevity into your life. So it's a fabulous, fabulous workshop. So if you are interested in it, let me know. I do have payment plans for it as well. So everyone, have a fabulous weekend. Enjoy. And may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be. Blessed be everybody. And please stay healthy, and as allow your light to shine. So blessed be everybody. Bye-bye.